Welcome to the Epic Company Culture Podcast, where your host, Josh Sweeney, will give you, the business leaders, HR professionals, and company culture aficionados, the knowledge you need to take your company culture to the next level.
Hello, my name is Josh Sweeney, and welcome to the Epic Company Culture Podcast. Before I get started, I would like to thank Prototype Prime for this amazing podcasting space. The topic for today is building a Navigator program. So, what is a Navigator program? What does that mean? Well, there's lots of different words for it, but what I am going to highlight is a program that we use in the entrepreneur organization that I'm in. I mentioned that a few times. I'm in, it's called EO, Entrepreneur Organization. And I was the membership chair for 2 years, and we built really strong onboarding processes around making people feel welcome as new members, because a lot of these members in EO build very tight bonds. And when a new member comes in, we need to get them integrated in with everybody else. So let me take a moment just to explain the concept of the Navigator program. Anytime a new member would join, we would pair them up with a member that had been in the organization for a very long period of time, a good period of time, that was well connected, that was a natural connector and networker, and that knew a lot of people in the organization. And what we would do in this program is we would match them up, and the expectation for the Navigator was that this Navigator would call them, learn a little bit about their business, this entrepreneur's business, and make other connections that they thought would be helpful. So they would introduce them to other members. The next thing that they would do is they would coordinate or they would call them in order to ask if they're going to events. So EO has lots of educational events and other fun events that we do. And in that, this Navigator would call them and say, hey, are you going to this event next week? I'm going to be there. Love to connect with you and help you meet some people while you're there. Now, this had a couple of different positive effects. So first of all, by asking somebody if they were going, a lot of times they would get things like, oh, well, I didn't even think about the event, or I hadn't heard about it yet. So it would encourage them to then sign up. And on top of signing up, they knew that when they showed up to that event, they wouldn't be the odd new member out. They would have this Navigator beside them, making introductions, helping them, navigate through meeting everybody in the organization, and then really getting integrated in to the organization with everybody else. So there's this concept of this Navigator. And what I really liked about this program and what I started thinking into is, how can we use this within our organization? How can we build these Navigator systems, these buddy systems, whatever you want to brand it as, in order to help a new employee feel integrated into the process? Because we have to keep in mind, some people are more introverted and extroverted than others. Some are going to naturally go out and find new friends and meet new people within your organization. Others are perfectly happy to sit at their desk and do their thing, and they're just going to do their work and maybe not proactively reach out and find people to go to lunch with or build relationships with. So what we can do is we can build this Navigator program or a buddy system in order to integrate them into the environment. Some other ways that this can help in your environment is this Navigator can coordinate lunches with other members of the team. So if it's a natural networker that's in your organization, that person that's the go-to, they can invite the new person out to lunch with a team one day, and they can invite them out with another team another day. And what we find is these Navigator type people are, again, natural networkers. They're naturally putting together the different groups and dynamics to go to different restaurants or have events at the office or whatever it might be. They're that connector. So we can connect that new employee with the existing employee and really make them feel welcome. Now, just this morning, I actually read a culture article. I spend a bit of my day, a bit of time each day reading different culture articles that come out. And I really enjoyed, there was one on Forbes called How to Grow and Scale a Culture Like 23andMe. So what 23andMe does, and I found it, as one of their sections in their article, was they call this the Base Pairs program. And I was happy to just discover this because of some validation around extending the idea from EO to businesses. And in their Base Pairs program, they match new employees to senior employees outside of their management chain. So they actually purposely match them with this base pair, or what we call the Navigator, outside of their normal structure. So it's inducing this exposure exposure to different groups. And it's specifically stated in the article, their goal is to create this cross-collaborative environment where new ideas are flowing across teams, and the only way to do that is to build relationships across teams and people. So what I would like you to do is think of how can you introduce a Navigator program, a base pair program, as 23andMe would call it, or a buddy system, however you want to brand it. How can you implement a program that is going to promote cross-functional collaboration with maybe your existing team and employees or new employees that come on board with your organization?
Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Epic Company Culture Podcast with Josh Sweeney. If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. For additional content and transcripts, visit epicculture.co. If you have questions or topics you would like us to address or expand on, tweet us at epicculture1 or email at podcast@epicculture.co.